Namaskarams to all. Welcome to Clyde Samvada, brought to you by the Hindu Temple of Scotland. Today we have Adi with us, and Adi is a Carnatic musician, singer, a bit of background music, but more importantly, which was most interesting for me personally, was the voice training part. So we will kind of dig a bit deep into Carnatic music identity, how does a musician train the voice and engage with it. So welcome Adi to the Clyde Samvada. How are you?
Thank you, Sreevas. Thanks for having me. Namaskar to everybody. It's a usual gloomy day in Glasgow. Yes, but thanks for having me. Looking forward to this discussion. Yes.
Yeah. So Adi, maybe we kind of start with the point on Carnatic musician part. I get it, but then the voice trainer, voice coach, voice workshop. So how did you get into that space?
It's a kind of a shortish story. I don't come from a family of musicians. I'm a first-generation musician in my family. So naturally, when I got into singing, especially during my teenage time when my voice was breaking, I didn't have many people to guide me. My dad used to say, I remember asking my dad once, I'm feeling something, this weird thing in my voice, what's that? The answer that I got, because at that point it was a phase in my life where I was singing one day in different, every day, each day in different pitches. And my dad told me, ஒரு நாளைக்கு நான் இப்போ கேர்ள் மாதிரி பேசியிருந்தேன் அவர் சடனாக ஒரு நாளைக்கு பையன் மாதிரி பேசுறாங்க meaning I was speaking like a girl like a few days ago. Now I'm speaking like
I remember my baritone thing also. Like I probably I mean most of us in South Indian Tamil households, we kind of are by default, whether you like it or not, you kind of go into a music class. Most people. I was part of that, and then I remember in my early teens, I suddenly one day my sound sounded drastically different, and people okay, you probably don't want to sing anymore. I mean, so then I stopped it. I mean, but yeah, interesting side note. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, credit to my parents, they put me onto various things. They put me onto cricket, swimming. Yeah. I left them for various different reasons, mainly due to the fact that I was kind of lazy to be on the cricket ground at 6 a.m. in the morning. Okay. That was not my thing. Anyways, back to voice. I was also learning from a female guru at that point, Sangeeta Kalacharya, Sugunavaradacharya Mami, to whom I owe most of my singing to. So I didn't have nobody to guide me in terms of my voice. So I was exploring myself. YouTube was becoming a thing at that point, and then I used.
So you're talking 15 years ago, 10 years ago?
No, I'm around about 2009, 10 onwards.
15 years ago.
15 years ago. Okay. Yeah. So my parents took me to every voice lecture demonstration that was being conducted by vocal experts in the field. Remember taking classes with Meseke Durga, Super Singer, Anant Vaidyanathan, so many other voice experts.
Anant Vaidyanathan is probably the person who kind of popularized this. Like ever since that star singer, he became that voice coach. Right?
Super Singer, yeah.
Super Singer,
yeah. And in term, and that kind of developed a curiosity within me to know more about my own voice.
Okay.
And then I fast forward to 2016, 2017, I had started to perform by then quite regularly. I was touring around many places, which is when I knew, see, in Carnatic music, you don't have this thing called voice culture in Carnatic. In Indian classical music in general itself. Hindustani also, there's a little bit of focus given on it, but in Carnatic music, absolutely zero. In fact, it's a problem in the Indian classical music space is that you have music training.
Okay.
You don't have voice training. And by that, see, here in the West, it's very common to see a singer going to a voice trainer to work on a song.
Right.
Whereas that concept is not there in classical music. You go and you learn the song itself.
Yes.
And the technique, see, the thing is, a technique that might work to you will not work for me. Each voice is different. Our facial gesticulations are different. The shape of our face, like every body is different. So you have these, like the way I say ah is going to be very different from the way you say ah. Like simple vowel like ah, like right from how much my jaw comes down, where my tongue lies, everything plays a role in the color of the sound that comes out and reaches your ears.
Interesting.
So in Carnatic music, you more often singers learn from intuition and repetition. That's sometimes healthy, most of the times very unhealthy. You don't figure out
Why so?
your, because if you learn from a guru, the guru would have over time developed a technique that suits
Works
him or
for
her.
the guru.
Might not be the same for you, but you learn imbibe, because there's face-to-face training, right?
Yes.
You imbibe everything almost from the guru.
Correct.
So at that point, you need to see, voice taking is all about efficiency. So you want to figure out what is the most efficient way of singing that works for you. All right. In fact, that's also a lot of people say, wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning and do akara
Sadhana. Yeah, that I remember. Yeah.
That's a very problematic thing.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a very problematic
Like
thing.
you're going to go inside water and it's better. No. Are we breaking norms
Waking
here?
up at 6 a.m. is a different thing. See, 6 a.m. thing is, what they probably meant was you start practicing after a period of rest.
Okay.
So that your voice feels fresh.
Okay.
But there's a different thing, because Indian classical music, you most of the time if you're going into technical terms of chest voice and all those people, all the different gears in your voice,
Okay.
you have compositions that predominantly lie in your chest voice territory. Like chest voice is the voice gear that we are speaking right now.
Okay.
All right, we will get into that a little later. But circling back to the story again, I did a course in New York.
Okay.
At New York Vocal Coaching, I became a certified voice trainer. That was a huge eye-opening experience thing for me.
Okay.
I became a certified voice trainer there, and primarily I wanted to develop techniques that suited Carnatic music.
Okay.
Because there's no voice trainer who's also a practicing Carnatic vocalist professionally.
Interesting.
And I wanted to kind of fill that gap.
Nice.
That's how I kind of got into this vocal training, voice training thing. I do train singers from other genres as well, of course. But Carnatic being one of the primary things that I do, I mean, it still is my bread and butter, right? So I kind of specialize in that, and I do try and help as much as possible men who are teenage boys who are going through this
baritone breaking.
their voice changing phase. So that's how I.
Super interesting. Like there's a very, very different line of, okay, you've kind of had a lot of musicians, but then like this coaching part, okay, maybe kind of we go deeper into that. How, I mean, like maybe start with some basics, right? Like how does a voice come out? I mean, like what constitutes a voice? What's the biology to the voice being generated? We maybe start there.
Sure. See, before any genre comes in, you need a pair of vocal folds to meet together and then emit sound.
Yes.
And then genre comes in.
Yes.
So if you want to start looking at it from a broader point of view, in fact, let me split this into 4 different parts. You know?
Okay.
All of singing can be broken down into 4 distinctive parts.
Yes,
one thing, first and foremost, is if you want to live, you need to breathe.
Yes.
So if your voice is primarily a exhalation activity, what you're speaking and as you're singing, it's primarily an exhalation activity. Only when you exhale, your vocal folds do come together. Also, if you try to speak, when you try to inhale, it's
gasping.
on. There's a cartilage called the posterior cricoarytenoid, which kind of brings your vocal folds apart for your air to go in.
Okay.
So primarily it's an exhalation activity. So we start there. So respiration. And then the sound has not still come out of your body, right? So the vocal folds are starting to meet, you're buzzing, and then the air is going out. And there's sound coming. That process is called phonation. So you have, your vocal folds can meet in different possibilities. For example, it can meet in a very thick coordination, which is what gives you the chest voice, the ambla maripa, and the chest voice. It can also meet in a thinner coordination like this.
Nice.
Right?
Okay.
It can also meet in a slightly thicker coordination like this. It can also meet in a very thicker coordination like this. Like you can have various different sets of possibilities within say a particular frequency range. You have different ways the vocal folds will meet, either thick or thin. Your vocal folds also have this ability to lengthen and shorten. You have these things within yourselves. Phonation. And then the sound has not still come out of your body. there's this whole thing called resonance, because your body is your instrument. Because a violinist can see the violin, a mridangist can see the mridanga.
Yes.
The guitar can see the guitar. The voice can only be felt.
Right.
You can't see the instrument, right? But you can feel it, which means you have to be conscious enough to be orienting your sound to different parts of your body. Like you hear us, I'm speaking this same frequency range, but I'm also speaking the same frequency range. If you are able to realize a little difference in my color. If I bring in my nose right now, you're hearing what I call as the nasal resonance, right? Now if I'm Sreevas, I'm speaking with you, I'm going to speak with my nasal resonance. I've just cut my nasal resonance and I speak like this with you, right? And I suddenly feels like I have a perpetual cold.
Ghosty stuff,
Perpetual cold that never seems to go away. Now I put back my sound back in my nasal cavities. Now I sound like myself, right? This is one little thing about resonance, right? And then you have so many myths and taboos that are there. You can't sing with your nose and all those things. That's all mumbo jumbo. You need to have your nose because it's part of efficient singing. And then the sound has not still come out of your body. You've taken a breath, you're exhaling, you're buzzing, and you're resonating now. Has the sound come out of your body yet? Not yet. There's still one small thing, the sound that's coming from your voice goes through before it fully comes out of your body, which is?
Like the larynx doing something?
Larynx is inside of your larynx is where your vocal folds lie. And then the sound has come out of your larynx, it's coming through your...
the tongue and the mouth doing something?
Exactly, what we call as articulators.
Okay.
Because you and I know English, we are able to understand. A person who does not know English, for them it's just sound.
Yes.
But they'll hear different shapes of these sounds.
Fair enough.
Okay, what's causing those different shapes in those sounds?
Yeah.
Your
like
tongue,
the jaw movement,
your
tongue,
jaw, your lip, the lips, the teeth, the tongue. All these are called articulators. So predominantly any sound or any genre will have a mixture of
this combination of four things.
All these combinations of four things.
Respiration, phonation,
resonance and articulation.
Nice.
If I have to break down all of singing into four...
Thank you. Thanks for the 101 of singing. Okay. Nice. And when you kind of go deeper into this, right? Like, so how is, let's say, the Carnatic music variant to this work with these four as opposed to, let's say, Hindustani or Western music? I mean, like, can you kind of break that out for us?
Right. So this is where your different registers in your voice comes into play. Primarily in Carnatic music, you have compositions that are there in your chest voice territory, which is mostly an octave and and a half at max.
What does this mean?
Which means if I'm saying sa sa ga pa, that's maximum. Sa sa pa, that's more or less your frequency boundary, not really boundary, but just that the composition don't really, and you also go down, of course.
Okay.
You go down there. You have this range in your chest voice. And Carnatic repertoire or Hindustani repertoire kind of fits into this.
Okay.
Of course, all of these boundaries do not exist when it comes to film music, or if you sing Western music, you have your voices going into your falsetto territory, which is like... If you hear a choir, if you hear a choir, you have specially soprano parts and alto parts, tenor parts and bass parts. It doesn't mean that if a tenor singer will always sing in your chest voice, he can also sing in a falsetto voice. That doesn't mean that the alto or the soprano voice should always be in their head voice or falsetto. It can also be in the... It's basically composition oriented. Okay. So my point is, just because your average, if you're into Indian classical singing, just because your repertoire does not demand your voice to go into your higher registers of your voice, namely your falsetto or your head, what we call as head voice, doesn't mean that they should not be practiced.
Okay. Head voice is sort of like what happens in the choir.
It's a disconnected.
Choir one.
It's a disconnected sound. For example, you hear those cracks, right? If I want to really break it down to for people to know what I mean by your falsetto. For men, it's much more pronounced.
Okay.
It's a disconnected. That crack. Now,
Okay.
what you hear right now is falsetto.
Okay.
It's a very disconnected register. It's still, see what we, again, there are problems with terminologies because I like to call this as a very disconnected gear. It's commonly known as falsetto, but there's nothing false about it at all. It still is your voice.
It's just cracked at a very high level of it.
Yeah, it's cracked because at one, there are two cartilages that are kind of, can I go into a little bit of little more detail?
Yeah.
See, there are two cartilages that are taking a part in your voice production. Thyroarytenoid and cricothyroid. Okay? Thyroarytenoid cartilage is what brings your vocal folds together, which is what is associated with your big bassy sound.
Okay.
The cricothyroid cartilage helps you to lengthen your vocal folds. So when as you move up, if you have good technique, your vocal folds should lengthen.
Oh, got you.
When they lengthen, you will start going into a thinner coordination. At one point, this whole thing will be taken over and you get into a higher voice. But again, in a lot of Indian classical singing, they think, oh, you're cracking, then you should just
Not
just
go that one.
Yeah, you should not crack. Instead, what they'll do, they'll compensate by being extra loud, which is bad technique again.
Okay.
There is, you can control how much of thickness you want and how much of lengthened, how much of a thinner coordination plus how thick you want. Thick. It's a combination of thick and thin.
Okay.
Like I can sing the same note in different coordination. For example, right? It's very falsetto. It's very disconnected. Free and loose. It sounds very low in the sound.
Okay.
I can the same note. It's the same note, but in 5 different possible ways or 5 different gears. It's like, for example, in a violin, you're hitting one note.
Yeah,
you're in the highest string, you're in the E string, and then you're hitting a note. But it's the same note. If I want to hit it in the A string, you go a little higher. If I want to go even higher from a lower string, it comes even higher. If I want to do it in the very first string, it goes very high. Same thing.
Got you.
But the singer, a very aware and technically aware singer, can access these things at will at any point.
Nice.
And this is what vocal technique is about.
Nice.
You need to know all these things like by default, because how many singers know that there are 2 sets of cartilages that are even working there, right?
Yeah.
How many singers are even aware about what actual nasal resonance is? There's a lot of confusion about speaking like this as nasal resonance. That's twang. That's a very different coordination. What I spoke earlier a little bit when I gave an example of nasal resonance, that is nasal resonance. There's so many myths and taboos, which is why I came up with this workshop called Own Your Own Voice workshop.
Own your own voice. Okay.
Yeah, it's something that I do where I deconstruct singing fully, and it's truly the intention of the workshop is to make a singer truly own their voice.
Nice.
That's why I named it that way, because I want them, like a violinist knows the bite of their bow. A guitarist knows how thick each string is.
Yeah, because the external instrument, right? So that defines.
Exactly, but for the voice,
It's internal.
it's internal. And people only again rely on repetition and intuition.
Yeah.
Like you actually need to know, which is why when during the workshop I make participants sing and give them exercises, personalized exercises again. Again, common exercises are not the way to go. That's another
Customized. You need to be customized.
Common exercises to an extent, yes, but beyond a point, individualized. Like just like every tennis player has a personalized physical fitness coach for their particular needs, you need to bring in that concept into Indian classical music as well, right? So. Which is why I
do this workshop.
Yeah, I do this workshop.
And how does this sort of, let's say, like doing the training or doing that, how does that influence or change a musician's vocal identity? Like we're kind of talking about the vocal identity in some way, right? So
Right.
How does this influence or how can one change? And is it only about music or is it also for general people? I mean, like
Oh no, see, your voice is your own entire personality.
Yeah.
It's literally your whole personality.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I started learning about my own voice, it started to feel like a whole new transformation within myself, because it's you're conscious about every little thing.
Nice.
Conscious in a good sense, not like it's in an inhibiting way.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean this in a very
Yeah,
liberating
absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
You become very conscious, and it's a transformative thing. You know how to your voice lasts longer. You're able to you're able to recover faster, right? Small things like that. Voice is a huge identity for themselves. See, the thing is, everybody has a beautiful voice, right? In fact, with choirs, you can get a certain color of a sound. You can actually make your voice sound like a flute. There's a piece called Shringara that I have made on YouTube, where I did this as an experiment. Play this to almost everywhere I do the workshop. I start with this piece, and I ask people to recognize the instrument. Most of the 90% of the time they thought it was a flute, but it was my voice.
Oh.
Yeah. You can probably link the piece.
Put it on the description.
Yeah. You also have that, and you also have all sorts of technical and virtuosic things that can be done in the voice. And it's all, so you can get the feeling of an orchestra, you can get the feeling of a flute, you can get the feeling of a synthesizer. Everything is actually possible by the voice. Yet people wake up and say, oh no, I don't feel great about my voice. That person has a better voice than me. This person is louder than me.
Range is
he's able to sing higher. This is obsession about singing, being able to sing higher for every singer. Right? That's also another problem, right?
So just getting a thought back on like the identity part, right? So how does going through the training influence the identity, change identity? Can people train them on specific exercises to get that identity better? I mean, I know every voice has its own identity, but like kind of fine tuning, like taboos, overcoming that. Are there specific exercises that you kind of get people to do?
2-3 things. See, identity, again, as I said, is because it's your voice. When you start working on your voice, you're also starting to work on your personality at one point. Because as much as singing is physical, it's deeply emotional and mental, right? I can have the best technique in the world, and if I'm not in the right frame of mind in my concert, it'll show. Right? If I'm stressed or if I've not hydrated enough properly, all those things will show. But again, that's beyond a certain point. It's again about when you're in that emotional phase, singing is not only about always being perfectly on pitch, right? Sometimes those little imperfections, what makes it human, and people look forward to that. Right? That's what moves a person, right?
Fair enough.
Ultimately, if you're able to sing and you're technically right, but you're not moved, means that you're not a great singer, actually. So my technique thing is goes beyond just getting your getting the notes and getting your range tight and getting the resonance resonance perfectly. It goes beyond that. So most of the singers, like 60-70% of the singers that I've worked with, the problem is always mental. It's like mela pona edavadhu aidumo. This fear. Why is this fear? Because even in Western classical singers, like people who predominantly sing compositions that are in your falsetto or head voice category, they have typically weak chest voice or the speaking voice. Their singing voice would be really strong, but their speaking voice would be really kind of airy.
This is happens like with public speaking coaching also. They start with this, like how do you increase the range at which you speak?
So all these things. So to each their own. So you kind of identify what each singer requires and start working on that. And most often than not, they go through a personality change as well, because it's ultimately their voice. It's about how they feel about their voice. It's self-esteem, self-confidence, how a lot of stiffness around there, like because there's inhibition. What happens? There's stiffness on their body and all those things. You need to relax. You relax is one thing, and also letting go. Letting go is another thing. Just relaxing is another thing, right? So we try to work in that space, and with each person is very different. Of
Got
course.
you.
So
Got you.
Yeah.
And you kind of at the start mentioned about these, not about doing this.
Can I have some water?
Yeah. You had to hydrate in between. Yeah.
Oh yes. Hydration is a very.
Let's talk at that. I mean, like, yeah, let's talk at hydration and then come back
In
to the
fact,
point.
I can show you something. Like,
Okay.
So I'm speaking this way. See, we all know that this is a small little thing that I always like to do. Our vocal folds exist in your trachea,
Yeah.
the glottis part, right? It doesn't exist in your foot pipe, esophagus. Yet, I'm able to speak. I'm speaking this way, and you're hearing a certain color in my voice. And now you hear a certain color in my voice.
Did you change something consciously? No.
No,
Okay.
I didn't change anything. I didn't change anything.
Okay.
And I can show it to you again. So I'm speaking in a certain color of my voice. I'm speaking in a certain color. Now I'm speaking the same coordination, but it feels a little better. What's happening there? People think that, you often see during performances, people drink water, right? Is it really touching your vocal folds at that point? Actually not.
Okay.
Is this a myth that whatever water you're drinking is actually reaching your vocal folds at that point instantaneously? No. The hydration that I'm having right now in my voice is from water that I would have at least drank like 2 or 3 hours earlier, not instantly.
Okay.
Because if you eat or drink something and a little bit of the food particles or water droplets go into your trachea, what happens? You choke and you cough, right?
Yeah.
But your vocal folds also need hydration, right?
Yes.
What does that happen? So water that goes into your body through osmosis reaches your vocal folds also.
Okay. But it takes 2 to 3 hours. It's not.
At least. So the water I drank now will help me with my hydration 2 hours later.
Okay.
Roughly put.
Okay.
It depends on what again.
Fair
so
enough.
yeah. So hydration is. Why did you hear the different color in my voice? It's because the back of my pharynx that got little hydrated, because your mouth can get dry. When I drink water, I'm just essentially wetting my mouth to give a little bit of a fluid color to the sound.
Got
But
you.
it's not happening to your vocal folds.
Got
Vocal folds, that water reaches the vocal folds later.
Got you. And just kind of going back to the previous line of thought, which is like you mentioned that like there is this taboo or wrong practice about 6 o'clock singing, and so if that's wrong or like there's issues with that, what are the right things to be doing?
Correct. I'm glad you asked. When I say, a little while ago I was speaking about thin coordination, thicker coordination, and all those things. When we speak about doing akara sadhaka in the morning, I'm not saying it's completely wrong.
Okay.
I'll say why doing if I have to give you an analogy, doing akara sadhakam like first thing in the morning, you wake up at 6 a.m. and you want to do is equivalent to you waking up in the morning, putting on your just literally getting your feet off of your bed and launching into a sprint.
Okay. You're saying it's not prepared, like it has to be more step by step in
Yeah,
what needs to be
if you want to actually jog, go for a jog. Probably take a little bit of stretch a little bit and all those things. Instead, if you just try to do you're actually sprinting. It's equivalent of a sprint because after a period of rest, chest voice is the thickest coordination of your voice. You're launching your voice into the thickest coordination. Straight up.
Got you.
You're more prone to damage there. Again.
Damage as in like
damage
the
as
crack,
in
tear.
Crack. Vocal injuries are. Vocal folds are incredibly strong for what they do.
Yes.
Okay? But overuse and bad technique and all those things, what happens is that all these injuries are a body's way of preventing itself. From further damage. So what will happen? One portion of your vocal folds start to thicken up because it's getting smashed very hard, and that thing will become a little bit of a very thick.
Sore, like
Not sore. It becomes something called a nodule.
nodule.
Nodule. Vocal nodule.
Okay.
It's one spot in your vocal, one or two spots in your vocal like that are getting really abused.
Okay.
Because of bad, very easy, bad
Fair enough. Like
technique and
inflammation
all
type something.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
like but in a very extreme way.
Okay, got you.
It's just like that portion of your vocal folds thickens up so that it wants to protect itself. Hey, I'm getting a lot of damage here. I'm going to thicken myself so that. But you'll see that because if you speak even 2 minutes, your voice will become hoarse. Those are classic symptoms about vocal nodules and all this. So again, beyond that, there are nodules will
Fair
go
enough.
into
Like, we'll not
polyps and all those things.
yeah.
But an ideal way of getting into a sadhaka would be to first get into your thinner registers of your voice.
Okay.
Practice your falsetto. That is one thing. Or having lip trills. Sorry. Tongue trills. All these things in different scales. Those will kind of
Slowly open up.
Get your voice to a slightly warmed up feeling, and then you're way better off doing a then.
Deeper one. Okay.
And I would also suggest going from a darker coordination to start from a darker O.
What do you mean by darker?
So this is bright. This sounds bright. This sounds dark.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, instead of explaining through words, I have to just do it and say it. Right? Start from a darker chord. O is a very dark sound, very hollow in terms of your embouchure, right? And then go to A, O, and then open your mouth a little bit. Then go to slowly A, and then probably go to E, or you can do the other way. E is more headier. Come from E to A to A, right? That's again more in a generalized way, but if you're somebody who does akara sadhaka like straight up in the morning, don't do it.
Okay. So we've at
Like,
least
take 20 minutes to stretch yourself and then do it.
Yeah. One call for action from the video. Whatever else you
Please,
do, don't do this. Okay.
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
And just kind of going back to the music part, right? So for somebody who has gone through this sort of training, how does that reflect on to, let's say, doing the music, especially Carnatic music? Like, what is the sort of correlation, influence of this on that? Like, can they kind of now go more seamlessly to the higher octaves? Is that...
All that is a part of the... those are all results that are achieved during the thing. The more for me personally at least, the more revealing parts were how the understanding of, especially into Carnatic music, I'm saying, specifically, your interpretations of gamakas, what we call as gamakas, those little gamakas. The interpretations of gamakas is really a problematic thing. Like people associate gamaka to be too heavy, right?
Okay. What do you
I
mean
know I'm
by
being
that?
a little vague.
Yeah.
Because of lack of awareness in the vocal technique thing, this entire field, people think of Carnatic music as something that's heavier than what it normally is.
Okay.
Right? Which means unnecessary movements or gamakas.
Doing more of that is better.
Doing more of that, doing more than what is actually required.
Okay.
Right? Because I'm talking from a vocal technique perspective. I'm not saying do less. I'm not saying compromise on that. I'm saying the number of people who are actually doing more than what is actually required. Or inversely, the number of people who are not focusing on plain notes. Plain notes. If Carnatic music is not just over, it's not always about shaking. It's a sa re ga ma. It's also there. as much as your gamaka's shaky parts, your non-shaky parts are also equally important,
Yes.
right? That's
the exact prose or the words, all of that. Yeah.
Gamapa. I didn't do any gamaka.
Yeah.
Ma gamapa, gamapa sa ni pa, pa ma ga sa ni sa ga ma pa. It still sounds fine. I'm not compromising on the hair.
Yes.
Weight, the Carnatic weight.
Nice.
Pa ma ga ma pa. I'm not doing pa ma ga ma pa. That's a different thing. See, vocal technique is all about being subtle and all those things. You can, of course, exaggerate a lot of things into different extremities if you want to. Again, being subtle is key. Pa ma ga ma pa ma ni pa ma pa ga sa. This one raga. Or if I want to even take a very, very Carnatic heavy raga like Todi. Sari ga ma ni pa da. Na 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 ga ma pa da ni da pa da is all plain. It's in its position when I say. I'm not. That's different.
Yes.
You know, you'll actually find a lot of singers doing this. Ga ma pa da ni da. I'm taking this example of a small phrase and showing what's being actually in the scene, right? I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm saying efficient or inefficient. That's what I'm talking about, right? Efficient. How efficient are you being? In a performing environment, of course there will be moments in a song or in the atmosphere where you'll have to be loud.
Yes.
Right. My point is, allow those loud portions to be loud. Right? If you're already loud,
yeah, you will not differentiate.
You can't differentiate, right?
Got it.
Just a small example. Allow for those possibilities to happen. Of course, being loud is not vocal technique wise very healthy. It's not healthy. But the song at that point, the environment, the emotion, everything, if it wants you to be loud at that point, of course you got to be loud. I'm not saying vocal technique now you should not be loud at all. I'm not saying that. Of course you need to be loud, but allow that space to be there.
Yeah.
You can also train to be there. And how can you be loud like in an efficient manner? That's the whole process of this vocal training. And I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. That was there. Like, thanks so much for like debriefing. As like I feel like kind of going through like a voice training 101 class now. So thanks so much for doing that. Maybe I think we kind of close out with like people who are, let's say, not musicians, like people like me. Do you have suggestions for us? And I assume like there's a good chunk of people who are viewing this who may not necessarily be musicians themselves, right? So for people who are in that category, what do you suggest for us to improve our voice in some way?
In fact, I would say one thing.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to try out weird little sounds or noises that a baby would normally do.
Okay.
A baby, if you look at a baby, the baby is not demanding attention. It's actually expressing its emotion.
Yes.
Right? The baby is never afraid to try out all different kinds of noises and squeaks and all those little things. Right? As even adults, I think viewers would agree with me on this. If you're alone in your house and you have a song in your head, if you're any normal person would try to hit that one high note in the song in full volume. Right? Because there's no inhibition at that point. Everybody thinks that nobody's there to judge you. You'll try to hit that one high note in full. And you'll do anything. You'll do weird noises. You'll do different coordinations of your voice to try and hit that note. No. I'm saying let's normalize that. You're actually, in a way, for anybody, because if you're at least doing that, even if you're not a trained singer, you're at least activating different parts of your voice.
Okay.
Of course, then in terms of maintenance, drink a lot of water, diet. We didn't cover diet at all. Diet is extremely important for a singer, and of course non-singers also. But singers even more so, because what you put in your stomach can really affect the hydration that's there in your voice, the level of spice, and if the food is very oily, all these are a problem, because you have things like acid reflux and all those things that can become a major problem, right, for singers. So figure out a diet that works for you. For me, I know that I can't have too much spice, though I am from India, Tamil Nadu, and all those things. But I know I can't. My voice doesn't take too much, handle too much spice. Of course, maybe once in a blue moon I will enjoy a very spicy curry or something. But in general, my spice intake is less, because I know that messes with the hydration in my voice.
Okay.
Right. Same thing with others, non-singers as well. Hydrate well. Be silent. I mean, if you
don't keep talking.
yeah, actually, we underestimate that also.
Yeah, fair
right?
enough. Yeah, with
like
you.
if your guitar string breaks, you can change your guitar. If you break your
maintenance.
voice, you're not going to. You are blessed with one voice. Of course, now you have to go through the process of surgery and all those things, and then going for a speech therapy to regain, train physio, like what you normally do for physiotherapy and all those things, to speech therapy to get your vocal folds moving back again. All those things. Just because you can't see your instrument,
be kind to it.
Be kind to it. Right? I know, of course, you have your moments.
Fair enough.
Like. It puts a lot of things in perspective, right? If you're a singer, people, I normally give this tip to somebody if they ask me how can I take care of my voice. Roughly, if you have a certain set of words certain number of words, let's say, on X certain number of words you speak in a day, cut it by 50%.
Okay.
Roughly, you don't have to. You're not have to count it. Roughly, cut it by 50%. Your voice will feel better. Your voice will feel better.
Okay.
But I'm saying in a way where your communication, what you're communicating is also, your purpose is solved, but try to do it in 50% less words.
Okay.
It's amazing what
reduce filler words. Improve.
Yeah, it's amazing what it'll do to your mind. Your communication becomes more effective. 1, 2, you become a better listener. Plus, your voice is also saved. You're
super. I think that's a very good note to say. We have talked too much already. We probably cut it at that and say 50% of the words, 25% is already done. Yeah, I'm just playing it. But yeah, nice. So, but thanks so much, Adi, for breaking that down. And I'll think more about the lesser talking part and the part around hydration and the part around experimenting multiple notes.
Absolutely.
Going
and
forward.
Please try to try and learn as many languages as possible.
Okay.
Because languages play a huge role. Sorry, I want to share one last point. Languages are a huge part in because that's what your articulation. I did a little bit of touched a little bit when we spoke about English.
Yes.
Like Malayalam is a very nasal language by itself.
Yeah, I talk Malayalam.
Right. So if you singers from Kerala and all those things, they have absolutely brilliant nasal resonance. Why? It's very primarily because of the language that they speak and the words that they speak. It's in unconsciously stimulating their nasal resonance, and the practice is there. Okay. So like that, for different languages, different things, try to learn as many languages as possible as a singer. Like if you want to be a complete holistic singer, that's another point that
I think I've heard speech training people also say the same thing, right? Especially people who are non-English language speakers. The jaw movements and the facial movements are very different, and so to bring it from those movements, especially Southeast Asian languages, to bring it from those facial movements and jaw movements to an English is probably why we don't get accents the same way and all of that. So I think I can resonate that with other things that I've heard in the past. Super. Yep. Thanks so much, Adi.
Thank you. I hope I effectively said whatever we just touched the surface level, but I hope there's some content for people to
think about.
Thank you
so much for breaking it down for us.
Thank you. Namaskar.